You know, I get a lot of emailed questions and comments during the week about our weekend shows. And just ideas that come up, and people have been asking lately, you know, this conspiracy thing that we're supposed to ridicule, because ever since Kennedy got shot, they had the idea that conspiracy theory means you're crazy, right? Because nothing is a conspiracy except for bank robbers, right? They can have a conspiracy. But nothing else, certainly not government, certainly not major global industries. They can't be conspiracies, because that just means you're a paranoid fool who follows Alex or something like that, right? So these people were saying, well, what is the depth of the conspiracy? And that's a really interesting question, I think, and it's relevant and practical for our lives in a lot of ways. And the short answer for that is it's much deeper than almost anybody imagines. The collusion at the top levels in government and industry and the levels of power above those things, it's much more complete than what we thought. And I know I'm always finding new depths of it. It's pretty amazing. So when you look at all these separate issues, and you've got groups that I've talked to a lot focused on fixing one issue, like 5G or the geoengineering or the GMOs or chemical agriculture in general, which, yeah, some people realize that's a problem too, not just GMOs. Nuclear power, which is guaranteed planetary destruction. It's just a matter of time. It's not a brilliant technology unless you're trying to destroy life on Earth. Oh yeah, that's what they were trying to do. They still are, so we'll get to that. Anyway, all these different things, the drug medicine, the processed food industry that takes all the life force out of the food and then feeds it to you with new poison. The fake educational system that is designed to keep kids and older people from ever figuring out how to think, and is very successful at it, by the way. Fake science, where instead of just open-minded investigation, which real science is, they are taught in school, and I know I'm in the middle of PhD programs and stuff, and they teach you what acceptable, killer flies attacking, what acceptable knowledge is and where to find it. Certain journals that are respectable, right? And certain agencies that could never tell you a lie, like CDC or WHO or HHS or all these. I mean, I feel like we should say peace be upon them or something when we mention their name. They're like the higher levels of our religion of medical science and science in general now. Anyway, fake science, it's not by accident. And I'm sure I forgot to mention a bunch of different elements of the overall conspiracy. But anyway, like I was saying, there are groups focused on one of those things, like the 5G or, you know, the cell towers, whatever. And they're making plans that after they win that battle, if they do, that things will be really great. And it's wonderful that they're working on their chosen issue. But there's more happening here than just any of these chosen issues. It's an overall plan, and people ask, what's it really for? You know, just looking at it without preconceptions or anything to prove or any labels to be, you know, in tune with, liberal or conservative or whatever. You know, those are all things to divide us anyway. They're just fraud. What's really going on? Is it money? It's money at the lower levels that drives the corporate and government agency people to serve it because they get a paycheck. They're like Winston Zeddemore in Ghostbusters. They say, well, if there's a steady paycheck in it, I'm willing to believe anything you say. That was great. But that's really happening in government agencies and in corporations, because if you go along with what they say and you do believe it, and in fact you enforce it, you really do well. You get more money, you get more power, get promoted, all this stuff. But that's only at the lower levels. Above that, there's things that you probably wouldn't believe. At the upper levels, it's all satanic. It's not about money at all. They've solved the money issue. They took over the money system. They enforce control over all the countries through the central banks, which are completely criminal and evil organizations. And we've had communications from bankers within the middle to upper levels of those, and they know it's true. They have ceremonial things going on that, again, they're most of them are too sickening to really get into detail on this particular little video. But at the top levels, it's satanic, and it's not just about power and prestige among your fellow Satanists and all that. It's an actual ceremonial sacrifice that's going on. The end game of which is destroy the entire biosphere with us in it and with them in it. Okay, that's what keeps them so mysterious to most people. They can't imagine that our rulers would be looking towards an end in which they kill themselves. But what more perfect centerpiece of Satanism than suicide could there possibly be, especially when they believe that when they've done the sacrifice correctly, step by step, the right milestones, the right notices to the people of Earth and all that, then they get to physically die, but spiritually merge with the dark power that they worship. If you understand that, that's a lot. Okay, if you understand that clearly, all of these other separate agendas, elements of the big agenda, they make sense. Geoengineering, for example. Why would the rulers want to poison and destroy the integrity of the environment that is their physical life support system? If they just wanted to cut out 90% of the population, like Mike and many of our friends are talking about, they're intelligent in a certain way, not in other ways, but they're intelligent enough to know that if you wipe out the physical life support system, you can't come back after 90% of the people are out of the way and live there and have a really good time. It's not going to work. And they know that. They didn't miss that point, okay? They're doing it for a reason. All these changes that they're instigating in the biosphere are the irrevocable type. They're not the type that, oh, just take them back after 90% of the people are gone. That's not their plan. You know, escape from this, to paraphrase Star Wars, escape is not their plan. To have a nice life and be the remnant in the biosphere. They're planning to not be here. And escape is their plan from the entire physical realm to the astral levels, where they plan to merge with this dark being that they worship. They could actually do that for a while because the astral realms are real, but they're not going to have a really good time. There's a lot of reasons that's not advisable. So if any of you guys are watching that are part of that system, think twice, or more than twice, because you're high on the drug of evil, and it has side effects. It has long-term bad effects. You're not going to like them. And they'll be done to you by your own consciousness, because not some nasty God who's going to punish you. That's not required. If you do things against where you came from and your real source that was the origin of all of this stuff, and you're out of harmony with that, your own consciousness, which wants to go back where it came from, back into total oneness, will drag you through experiences to show you why that was not a good idea. And the hells and heavens are real, they're just not permanent. But they definitely exist, and the hells are not places you want to go. In the lower astral realms, they're not fun. So I recommend to reconsider if you're working to do bad things to humanity and other life forms on Earth. Don't do that, because you're really doing whatever you're doing to or for somebody else, you're literally doing to yourself. And if you don't see that, you need to break out of the hypnosis and start to look. I'm just giving you an idea, because nobody's lost, but why put yourself through terrible experiences to figure that out? Take your position from inside the power structure and look at the incredible opportunity to do some good, which your bosses won't expect. That's my suggestion. Just whatever position you're in life, you have amazing opportunities. See them and use them. So as far as the question goes, how deep is the conspiracy? On this plane, on the physical realm that we call the real world, it's just about total. It's just that that's not all there is. There's a bright, good side too, and none of us can ever really be destroyed. So we're going to be okay in the end. It's guaranteed, but we could go through some really unpleasant stuff in the meantime, and I don't think that's a good plan. So let's wake up and turn it around. You as an individual have incredible power to change the atmosphere of this planet, change the thoughts that some of the destructive people think they're having spontaneously or in their plan. Cell towers are not the only source of frequency radiation. Not all of them. Not all the sources are bad. You're one of the most powerful ones there is. But we don't normally have an awareness of that. We're not making the use of it that we could. I can't say much more about that on the public platform. But fixing your health physically, getting back in touch with the laws of nature that have been suppressed for a long time would help you. Get rid of your physical problems as much as you can first and learn how to do that, and then do the really powerful work that has to do with consciousness and energies that are coming from it. That's not beliefs, it's not imaginary. Compared to what we imagine that we think is real, it's much more real. Probably said too much already. If you want to get more into that, check out planetaryhealingclub.com. And otherwise, I hope I'll be back to making videos a lot more frequently. I hope everything's going well for you. That's our goal, is to see that we could all be okay, and I think we still have a chance to try to do that. So meet me at planetaryhealingclub.com Saturdays, and other than that, I'll see you back here for another video.